Hello, this is episode 240, and today we're chatting about how our guest started keto, the struggle she's had with weight loss, infertility and adoption, self-confidence in creating a healthy relationship to the body, and so much more. Now, today's episode is a little bit echoey. We tried to edit it out as best we could, but I'm sorry in advance. Sometimes these things happen, but the quality of the content is ace, so I hope you'll bear with us. Okay, so if you listen to today's episode and you're like, OMG, me too, I need to get a handle on my hormones, I'm done with this stuff, I created a program for that. You can find out more by going to happyketobody.com. This is my 12-week video training program for women developed by myself and Dr. Nina Lewis-Larson. And it is a step-by-step on how to get your hormones on track, how to care for your digestive system, your autoimmune conditions if you have them, all of the things wrapped up into one program specifically geared toward women. So again, that's happyketobody.com. There's coaching in there, there are videos, audios, workbooks, a whole bunch of things. Again, that's happyketobody.com. If you have questions about today's content, you can go to healthfulpursuit.com/contact and ask me. And if you're looking for the links and resources and everything that you hear on today's episode, you can head on over to ketodietpodcast.com. And on that page, you just scroll down a little bit until you see episode 240, and then you'll get all the resources right there. Our guest today is Jessica Dukes, a native of Tennessee, the voice behind Daily Ketosis, which you probably follow on Instagram. Jessica is a wife, a mother, after a long battle with infertility, where she turned to the keto diet to help with her PCOS and infertility. She's the author of the Dairy-Free Keto Diet Cookbook, one of my personal favorites, where she cooks keto meals and hopes to encourage you and motivate you in your day-to-day and along the way. Her hope when you come to her page is that you leave better than you came, with a new recipe, a virtual hug, and just a new friend out in the virtual world of Instagram. Okay, Jessica isn't kidding when she says that you will leave her page with a virtual hug. Every time I check out her Instagram, I'm just like warmed by her amazingness. And if you go to her page, Daily Ketosis, you will feel it too. I can't wait to share this episode with you. So let's do this thing. Hey, I'm Leanne Vogel, and you're listening to the Keto Diet Podcast. I've put together a free 21-page guide on achieving weight loss on your keto diet if nothing is working. Did you know imbalanced hormones are generally at the core of all struggles that women face when it comes to our weight? Grab your free guide at ketoforwomen.com to get the steps you need to overcome the hurdles standing in your way. Thanks so much for listening, and let's get started with the show. So, hi, Leanne. Thanks for having me on the Keto Diet Podcast. I appreciate it so much. I have loved watching your Instagram page and your business grow. You're such a good role model for me. And I've enjoyed seeing your face more on Instagram. That's so delightful. And watching your adventures and all that jazz. It's so fun. You're definitely living your best life. And I'm here for it. But thanks for having me on the podcast. I am Jessica Dukes. Most people know me around here as Daily Ketosis over on Instagram. And that's also the name of my blog and most everything. I've been Daily Ketosis for about 4 years now. And I'll back up and maybe just tell you the story of how all that happened. I am 43 years old. I've always struggled with my weight. I would go on a fad diet after fad diet after fad diet, lose a few pounds, get frustrated. You know, the rest, everybody, I feel like that's kind of their story if they've struggled with weight. I had never done a low carb diet because, why would I do low carb? Those people always gain their weight back, you know? So I am super judgy and super not into low carb because that's not sustainable, but it's funny where you end up and what words you have to eat. So I had always shied away from low carb. When my husband and I got married almost 9 years ago, and we started having a baby, we started wanting to try for a baby to grow our family. I was having a hard time getting pregnant. And then
after about a year, I got pregnant, had a miscarriage, which was devastating. I've been a professional nanny and personal assistant for 25 years. And so I have cared for more children in Tennessee than you would even believe, mothering them and developing their character and growing them into adult human beings. So I love that side of nurturing and mothering, and I had done it for so long that I never dreamed that I would, once I got married, begin walking a long road of infertility and miscarriages and pain and all that comes with wanting something so bad that you can't have and you have no control over. So about 4 years into marriage, after trying, I was morbidly obese. Walking around in my body, I would say, somebody wouldn't say that, but I had, 100 pounds to lose. And the doctor, the OB would always say, just 20 pounds would help get you pregnant. And I was always thinking, but it's so hard. And it really was. And I was always on a diet. I was always trying something. It was super frustrating to be in my skin because all I wanted to do was have a baby. And all I needed to do was to be healthier, get my, body in a better shape to do that, hopefully, and I would succeed. So 4 years into infertility, we had, I don't know, the timeline is so skewed because it was so long, but overall we had 4 miscarriages by then and had done maybe 4 or 5 IUIs, which is a less invasive procedure than IVF, but fertility treatments for sure. We did 7 total. So maybe by then we had done 4 or 5. I also have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And so of course that was another reason why I was having a hard time losing weight and getting pregnant, because that definitely affects both of those things, infertility or pregnancy and weight loss. So I was just Googling, diets, food that help infertility and weight loss. And the first thing that came up was the ketogenic diet. I'd never heard of keto or ketogenic. I had been to plenty of doctors. I had tried every diet in the world, but not low carb because, I wouldn't want to do that. And I had never heard of keto. As I read about it, it sounded really easy to me. I don't have a big sweet tooth, but I really like meat. So I was like, this is totally something I can do. This sounds too good to be true. I just eat a whole lot of meat and cheese and some vegetables and lose weight. Score. Success. So that was December 4 years ago. And I thought to myself on January 1st, because God forbid we start immediately, I have worked on that in my personal life and personal development. Like once I see something that I need to achieve, instead of like, I'm going to wait till this date to start, just start as soon as you decide. Like, that why do we wait for, life to happen and this to happen and this to start living a better life? Like, why do we do that? I also have a lot of motivation just in me. So occasionally I'm just going to spew words of motivation to you. It just comes out. I can't help it. So just go with me. Okay. Also, I'm highly distractible, as you can probably tell. But I thought, you know what, January 1st, I'm going to start doing this keto diet. And for some reason I didn't, even though, its basis is low carb, that didn't freak me out like low carb or Atkins or all those, words we had heard, as a 43-year-old woman, like growing up, that were so like taboo now because, they gained their weight back. Or maybe I'm just not a nice person. I don't, maybe I'm just judgy, but to myself. But so anyway, I thought I'm going to start January 1st. I'm not even going to tell my husband. My husband has never struggled with his weight, but he's always been thin, but he's always just followed my lead in the kitchen. I'm the main cook, or I am the cook in the house. So if I'm eating keto, he's going to eat keto too, because he doesn't know any better. And I'm a good cook. So I started keto, and I had come from paleo, which now that I've learned more about the diets 4 years later, or keto, I try to do really clean keto, and sometimes I'm lazy, but I try to incorporate a more like Whole30/paleo approach of getting like good meats and good vegetables and, really limiting the dairy and sometimes not even doing any dairy at all. But paleo was hard for me because with insulin resistance and PCOS, the carbs that you can have on paleo were, and the maple syrups and the clean sugars you could have were really stalling my weight loss, I believe, or I know. So anyway, I'm a firm believer in those lifestyles, but it just wasn't what I needed to be doing to lose weight, to get my health back, and to also hopefully have a baby. Spoiler alert, the baby that I'm watching on the monitor right now as she sleeps so sweetly as I'm recording this. So dreams come true, y'all. Just here to tell you that really miracles can happen right before your eyes if you just hold on to hope. So I started January 1st. I think I ate meat and cheese for a month because I didn't really understand keto. I was doing the best I could. And that's what I tell a lot of people that are like, how do I start? I'm like, just dive in. Like, you're going to mess up and you're not going to know what you're doing. But trying to take control of your health is much better than just being like, well, I don't know what to do, so I won't do anything.
Today's episode continues after this short message from one of my sponsors who make the show possible, plus give you some great deals on my favorite things. ButcherBox features 100% grass-fed and finished heritage-bred pork and organic free-range chicken. ButcherBox sends you high-quality, health-promoting meats directly to your door on dry ice and free shipping anywhere in the lower 48. ButcherBox makes committing to quality protein sources less expensive and more available to everyone. Their prices are hard to beat, and it's challenging to find a higher quality product anywhere in the USA. I've been using ButcherBox for years and love the convenience of a package showing up just when I need it, and their ground sausage is an absolute dream. ButcherBox has put together a super special deal for all listeners of the show. Order your first box and get a special gift plus an additional $20 off. Now, this special gift is so epic that I can't even mention it on the episode today. So you'll have to go to butcherbox.com/keto diet to check out the deal plus get your $20 off your very first order. Again, that's butcherbox.com/keto diet to check out the deal plus get $20 off your first order. If you're unsure of the link, simply check out today's show notes for all the details.
So just dive in. Like I said, I think I ate meat and cheese for the first month. And, when you know better, you do better. And so as I understood it more, I learned that, there were so many things that I could eat that fell under the keto diet umbrella. So I started this Instagram page, Daily Ketosis. Since I'd struggled with my weight for so long, I'd struggled with infertility for 4 years at the time. I love photography. I have a background in photography. I love words. So Instagram and blogs and all that really spoke to me. And I was part of, I fell under the mommy blogger category because I had been a nanny for so long. I had a blog that kind of chronicled my everyday of being a nanny. So, where I fell in the this is where she fits was the mommy blog /Instagram. And that became impossible for me to continue as I got further along in disappointments and miscarriages and watching, the mommy bloggers that were actual mommies become mommies for the second time and the third time and the fourth time. I think I watched one lady have 5 babies while I was in the process of just trying to get pregnant. So it was too much. So I took control of that and thought, you know what, I'm going to start a keto page. And, 4 years ago, I think Instagram is kind of like quote unquote cool now, or maybe it's not, but social media is more of a thing now than it was 4 and 5 years ago. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to start a keto page on Instagram. I'm going to take a picture and post everything I eat. And that way, the goal was I was not looking for followers. I really didn't want anyone to know that I was doing this, but I thought, if I meet some strangers along the way that are trying their best and doing their best and see my pictures and are inspired, and I can be inspired by their pictures, then that would be really cool. And I thought, you know what? I love to take pictures. So I'm like, I'll take pretty pictures, but I'm going to post everything I eat. So it keeps me accountable to myself for keto, because if I know that I'm going to post breakfast, lunch, and dinner, well, I'm probably not going to have a hamburgers and fries for lunch because I know I have to post it, And so I started doing that and lost, some weight really quickly. And but more than weight, I started feeling really good, like even through infertility treatments and so many drugs because I was trying to get pregnant, and so many rounds of Clomid and every other infertility drug you can think of, I was on, and so many years of just like heartache and heartbreak of trying to have a baby. I started just feeling good. And so bigger than the number on the scale was my mental state. My mental state began to feel better. And then my physical body just began to feel on fire. Like it began to feel great. So I started working out, and, after about 2 years of consistent keto, I was able to lose 70 pounds, which, I had needed to lose forever and keep it off. I have, like I mentioned earlier, a history of really struggling with my weight. I had lost 100 pounds twice before when I was younger. When I was 18, I lost a little over 100 pounds and had lost so much weight that I had to have a tummy tuck because of the extra skin was like rubbing and causing an infection. So I had a tummy tuck when I was 19, 20. And then I ended up gaining that weight back a few years later and lost it again. So I have lost lots of weight, gained it back, lots of weight in my lifetime. So that's kind of where we were coming from. So after about 2 years, I was able to lose 70 pounds. I started working out. Keto really, really, really changed my mind and my focus and just made me feel like I could achieve great things because it, not only did it help me lose weight, but it helped my mind to see that I was capable of so many things that I didn't think I was capable of. And that all began with keto. So after about 2 months of having daily ketosis and posting everything I was eating, I'm not a very good secret keeper, especially if it's good. A few people started following me, and, I was really having fun, like talking back and forth with other keto diet, advocates or whatever. And so I told my husband what I was doing, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't even notice. This is awesome." So he jumped on board, and it's cool because I come from a place of really needing to lose weight for my health. And he comes from a place of not needing to lose weight, but he wants to feel good. And it's really cool that both of our journeys are very different. We eat very similar foods, and he doesn't lose weight, but I do lose weight because I had the weight to lose. But his workouts at the gym, once he started keto, he went from like a thin 30 waist guy to like having like bulky arms, seeing like goals achieved at the gym that he never achieved before eating keto. So it was really cool that like we were both achieving like personal physical goals, eating the same thing, because a lot of people think you have to do keto to lose weight. And that's not specifically true at all. Keto is just good for your health. But so my page started growing. It started becoming like a thing in my life. And then and I guess I'm rewinding again, after about 6 months of being on doing consistent keto, I had PCOS as long as I had been going to an OB. So 18, 19, 20. I had been taking metformin, 1,500 milligrams of metformin every day for, as long as as long as the drug has been on the market. I swear I've been taking it so long. It made my stomach hurt every day. It made me feel terrible. But, the doctor was like, this is the only thing we can do to control your PCOS. So, of course, I took it. And as I learned, like I said, when you know more, you do more, you do better. after I started keto, hoping that it would, provide answers for PCOS and infertility. 6 months eating keto, the doctor called after some blood work was done and said, you know what, everything looks fine. He's like, you do have PCOS still. Obviously, I don't, Leanne, you might know more about this. I don't think there's a cure for PCOS. You still have PCOS, but you can control your symptoms and your insides with diet versus medicine. So I hope I said that eloquently. If not, so the doctor said you can stop taking metformin. Whatever you're doing right. So keep it up. So I was able to stop taking metformin, which, I mean, if that's not a reason to keep you doing what you're doing, keeping you in the race, then I don't know what is, because that stuff is terrible. So that was 6 months after I started keto. And then it's cool. My page led to me writing my first cookbook, the Dairy-Free Diet, Keto Diet Cookbook. It just has opened so many doors for me professionally. And while I'm able to maintain a ketogenic lifestyle, I'm also been able to grow in using my voice to speak to the lives of women that really need, encouragement and lifting up and feel less than and feel like I have felt most of my life.
Today's episode continues after this short message from one of my sponsors who make the show possible, plus give you some great deals on my favorite things. Today's show is brought to you by Four Sigmatic, the makers of my favorite magic elixirs, like the Lion's Mane elixir. Add to coffee, your morning tea, smoothies, shakes, you name it, and watch your anxiety go down and your cognitive function increase. Each of their elixirs are formulated to support various aspects of your health and wellness, from brain function to energy production, relaxation, and more. They're easy to travel with, you can add them to any liquid, and they're pretty tasty too. Use the coupon code KETO, all in caps, for 15% off all things at foursigmatic.com/keto. Unsure of the link? Check out today's show notes for all the details.
What is the most fun that has happened since starting keto is we went to Vietnam in November 2017. We were still in the midst of, infertility mess. If you've dealt with infertility, it's a true nightmare. I'd had 4 miscarriages at this point, and at this point, I think we had done the 7 IUIs. So we were done. We were just done. If we knew we wanted to have a child, we wanted to keep trying. I was, about to be, 42 at the time. I was getting older, hope was diminishing. I always knew I'd be a mother, and I had, there was a flicker of fear that I wouldn't be, but I just kind of knew that my heart dreams would come true. I don't know why I knew that or what gave me the courage to think that, especially as a 42-year-old woman that was just getting knocked down at every try with infertility, but I just knew it. While we were there in Vietnam, my husband's a writer, and he was finishing up a book he had written about Vietnam, the Vietnam War. We were there for 2 weeks, and while we were there, my husband, they have really cheap massages there. My husband came out of a massage. I think I'd gotten a pedicure. I love a pedi and a mani more than a massage. So he would get the $2 massage. I would get the $2 mani pedi every day, real good. So he came out and he was like, we have to adopt. We have to come back to Asia and adopt. We had not really talked about adoption. Obviously, that would be something maybe we should have talked about sooner, but it just, I really think you have to be called to adopt. And we just didn't feel that calling on our lives until we were in Asia. So my husband and I, the rest of the trip, we were like, we're going to come back. We're going to come back to Asia, hopefully Vietnam or China or just somewhere in Asia, and adopt. We knew we needed to adopt from Asia. So that was November. and January. We were like, you know what, let's just take a break from the infertility, the medicine and the drugs, and let's give your body, Jessica, a break and see what happens. So in January of 2018, we sent off our paperwork for the initial adoption. We are interested. So it's been 2 years. We know for sure that we are getting a little girl from China. It could be any day. It could be in a month. We know we're first on the list. So we feel very strongly that this year we will be going to China to get our daughter. We don't know anything about her other than she lives in China. And she's going to be ours and already is ours. We just have not been matched with her yet. So if you're listening, if you ever think about me or, see my Instagram page or just come across this, will you give her a thought or a prayer? Because I'm so ready to get her home. I wear a bracelet every day on my wrist. It's just brown beads. I have it on right now. And I got it in Asia. And when I wear it, I tell all my Instagram people, if you see it, give her a good thought or a prayer. So, just from me to you, if you would do that, I really believe in that good energy getting her home. So we're ready. It's been 2 years. But while that was going on, with a little help from some science, I was able to get pregnant and stay pregnant with Elliot Jane. I really think me being keto for, the 3 years leading up to Elliot Jane and losing that weight with keto was what made me be able to have a successful pregnancy. Because like I said, I'd gotten pregnant 4 times, but I couldn't stay pregnant. So I really think keto helped me stay pregnant. Also, something I'm super passionate about is like toxins in our environment and toxins in our skincare and our houses. Like we can't control, what goes on outside of our homes. But as I was like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do for this this baby from Asia that we're going to get and be ours? How can I, love her from afar? What can I do for her while she's not in my arms? And, I started learning more about the toxins in our environment and our homes and what we're cleaning with and all that stuff. So I cleaned up our house and our environment and the toxins that everyday toxins. I cleaned up my skincare, my hair, my makeup, all that stuff. So I'm super passionate about clean skin. I've become a beauty counter consultant, which is, clean skincare, clean makeup. They test for, heavy metals, heavy toxins and all that stuff in their makeup. And I am an essential oils girl. So I went down that path. So I really think cleaning up the toxins in our home and my body, and then cleaning up my diet with keto, those two things combined were really able to keep me pregnant with Elliot Jane is her name. And she's 8 months old now, and she's perfect in every way. While I was, like I told my husband, we laugh and say, well, of course, Coco is what we're naming our adopted daughter. And I said, of course, it's taken a while to get her home because God forbid our fertility journey be easy. Like 8 years later, we finally have Elliot Jane after a lot of heartbreak. 2 years into the adoption journey, we're still waiting, which is fine. It's exciting because the older Elliot Jane gets, the closer in age our adopted daughter will be an Elliot Jane. And just have something about like sisters close in age, this swells my heart. I'm already saving Elliot Jane's clothes for Coco because I know Coco will be small, and I think Elliot Jane's clothes that she wears will probably fit Coco. So that's what I tell my husband when I buy one more thing for Elliot Jane that she probably doesn't need, but Coco's going to be able to wear it. And he's like, okay, whatever. So it's really fun right now after so much heartbreak to have Elliot Jane and know that we get to go to China soon and get Coco. So I really, really, really attribute the keto diet to like getting me, getting my body healthy and my mind healthy and able to maintain a pregnancy finally. I think it's interesting how, the mind works. I started keto. As I lost weight, I started feeling better and I started moving my body more and exercising more. And then, my self-esteem got better. I just felt good about myself because of what I was doing for myself, and not specifically keto or anything like that, but just because I was taking care of my body. I was fueling it the way it needed to be fueled. And it really is, bigger than losing weight or a diet. It's a mind game. And I feel like if we can, control what goes in our mind and that mental aspect of hard things, we can really have power over our life. That's what I tried to do when, the 8 years I really struggled with having Elliot Jane and, met with like miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage and, defeat after defeat after defeat and getting older, watching like time just pass before my eyes. I would tell myself and my husband, I was like, I have hope. I have hope. I have hope. I have to hold on to hope. And when I felt depleted or I felt like I couldn't do it anymore, I would say to my husband, like I would say out loud, like, I am struggling right now. I need you to have the hope for me until I can have the hope again. And then I'll take it back. And then it might be your turn again. So that's just kind of what we did. And, my Instagram page started as, all me, like me, like I need to lose weight. I'm going to post these meals and hope that I lose weight. But what it's become is a community of lovely women, mostly. I think I have 3 men following me, but a community of lovely women that we all need encouragement. We all need more out of girls, and you can do it. And what I've been able to do is take the lead on that with my page and just, say, well, this is what I'm eating for dinner, whether it be steak and asparagus or chicken and cream cheese, but this is how I'm feeling. And, I talk about, like, you are enough, you're worthy, you're beautiful just because you're you. Like I say that on my page all the time. I've tried to do lives this year more often and just speak to those women that need to hear the voice that I needed to hear my whole life say those things to me, that, it didn't matter that you were 100 pounds overweight. It didn't matter that you can't have a baby. It didn't matter that you were all the things that you tell yourself you are. You were still beautiful. You're worthy and you're enough. And I needed that in my ear. Like I needed somebody to tell me that my whole life. And what I hope I can be is the bridge between now and when you believe that yourself. That bridge that I can just be that vessel that carries that, you hear that in your ear. You hear my voice saying you're enough, you're worthy, you're beautiful. Just because you're you, not because you lost 5 pounds or 100 pounds or you ate cake for lunch and you ate more cake for dinner. Like that doesn't have anything to do with your soul, your well-being, your mind. Like it has everything to do with just you're beautiful, you're worthy, you're enough just because you woke up this morning. So my page has become a lot of me motivating women and telling them all these things that I've needed to hear my whole life. And, I've been shy in the past talking about this because I'm like, I don't want to be too much for people. I don't want to be like, I struggle with that side of me. Like I have a lot of words. I'm definitely your Southern female with a lot of words. But this year I'm like, I get such a good response when I share my heart and I say these things to women and it comes from my heart. And I think, I'm not for everyone, but I think people know my heart and know my intent. And I needed to hear my whole life that I was worthy and that I was beautiful and that I was enough just because I am. And the voice in my head that told me terrible things that I told myself. Like I would tell myself terrible things about myself. Well, now I know that none of those things were true. Of course, none of those things were true. But I had such a negative dialogue in my head about myself that it took years and years of me saying these things to myself. You're worthy, you're beautiful, you're enough. Like changing my health played a huge part of it. The keto diet played a huge part of it. The keto diet, led me to so many great things in my life. It allowed me to write a cookbook. I actually might be writing another one soon, which is fun. I really want to write a motivational book. And all of that confidence, I really think started with me taking, the reins on my health with the keto diet and really allowing myself to learn. And as I learned more about the food choices that I needed to make for my body, the mental game in my head changed so much. And as I learned more about myself and as I felt better and as I moved my body more, I've been able to share that side of me more on my Instagram page and on my blog. And like I said, we cook together nearly every night. I have a newsletter list where you can subscribe to my newsletter, and then I just send you everything I cooked for the week. I just send to your email. That way you have a little happy email waiting on you on Sunday night. And it's everything I cooked the previous week.
I hope you're really enjoying today's episode. I'd love to see where you're listening from. Snap a pic and tag me at Healthful Pursuit, or leave a review for the show on your favorite podcast player. It helps me out tremendously. Okay, back to the good stuff.
So, for Daily Ketosis, the Instagram page, the future of it, I think, is I just want to motivate, speak, and lead with my actions and my words. And I hope I can do all those things, in the kitchen, outside of the kitchen, and really speak. Leanne, you've done a lot of that, I feel like, in your own life the past few years, just a lot of self-discovery and figuring some hard things out about yourself. And I think I've done the work too. And I've just really, I really, really enjoy the side of me that loves me. It's so great to finally love yourself and know that you're worthy and you're beautiful and enough because you just woke up and you're just alive and the day is yours and you're enough. I mean, I went to college for 4 years and got a degree in special education, but I never taught because, why would anybody want to hire me? I'm fat and ugly. Why would it? That's crazy talk, but that's where I've been and that's where I lived for so long. And it's so nice to be free of that voice that didn't like myself for so many years. And if I can share and speak to one person that feels the way I have felt my whole life, then I will have done a good job. And more importantly, now I get the bigger job of raising 2 little girls and one that's already, popped out of my belly and into my house. And I want her to see a mother that loves herself, that feels her body well, and that thinks she's amazing. And I hope that what I teach her will give her life lessons and little atta girls along the way that she won't ever struggle with herself like I've struggled with my mind, because it's been really hard to learn to love me. And I really think, I'm really selling keto hard here, but I really do think that it was a big part of me. When I started keto, I really felt like I felt better than I'd ever felt as far as health-wise. And I began it just carried down into other aspects of my life, if that makes sense. So but with keto for the past 4 years, the big picture, I've lost about 70 pounds. I was able to have a baby after 8 years of trying. And I love my body. My body's not where it's perfect. It's never going to be perfect. I have a C-section scar and a tummy tuck scar. But what I do know for sure is that I'm enough and that I'm worthy and I'm beautiful just as I am. And it's so good to be in the headspace of loving yourself versus not loving yourself, because that's a hard road to walk. It's hard to hide from yourself and everyone else when you don't love yourself. I would go, when I would buy clothes, I would just get the biggest thing on the rack because I was like, oh, it doesn't matter. Nobody's looking at me anyway, and I really don't want anybody to look at me. So I'll just get this shirt. Who cares? And I hope along the way that, I've taught my girls that follow me on Instagram, hey, buy that pretty shirt, even if you're, a 3X or a 4X or an extra small and can't gain the weight you need to gain. Buy the pretty shirt, get some earrings, put on a little coat of mascara, put on some lip gloss, take a shower in the morning, take the time to blow dry your hair, little things like that. Get ready for your day. Smile at a stranger, smile at a baby, buy your friend a coffee, leave it on her doorstep and say, hey, there's a coffee waiting on you outside. Go look on your front porch. Little things like that not only speak into the souls of others, but they also speak right back to you. And they end up giving you more back than you give someone else. So I hope your big takeaway when you come to Daily Ketosis's page is a lot of good cooking, a lot of good loving from me to you, and that you leave better than you came. I know Instagram is a fickle place and a funny place, but I really want my space to be I filled your belly up with a great recipe. And then I also filled up your heart with some words or some knowledge or something I can pass on to you that you can pass on to someone else, because it's a hard life. Some days are not always sunny. Some days are not always great. But on my page, if I can leave those sunny words, and if I can leave those great words, and if I can make my page an instrument to your growing in love for yourself, then that's what I want to be, and that's what I want to do. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. The last 8 years, I've had a lot of personal development and growth, just learning to love myself, basically because I knew that I was going to be raising girls and I had to figure it out, because I cannot give them what I gave myself my whole life. Like, that's not fair to them. And I don't want to leave that with, I don't want them to struggle like I've struggled. But yeah, so that's me, Jessica. I don't think I introduced myself at the beginning. Hey guys, Jessica Dukes here, Daily Ketosis. But you can find me over on Instagram at Daily Ketosis, or my blog is dailyketosis.org. We talk about a lot of things, from my favorite finds at Aerie to Beauty Counter to Old Navy to my favorite baby products to, just kind of a little bit of everything you can find in my stories. Fun recipes. My cookbook is the Keto Diet, the dairy-free Keto Diet cookbook that you can get at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Target. I think it's on sale right now on Amazon, so go ahead and grab it. And then my newsletter, if you like what you see as far as cooking goes, I cook nearly every night, and everything I make during the week, I send out on Sunday night my previous week's recipes to you, just as a thanks for being here. You're doing a great job. Here's some everyday easy recipes. And they're not something a chef would make. They're, very Southern inspired probably. And just what do we have in the refrigerator tonight that we can make? I've worked a long day and mama's tired. Those kind of recipes, which we all need, I feel like. So I hope they can just provide, like a guide for you, and you can take those and run and make my recipes and make them your own. To subscribe to my newsletter, it's dailyketosis.org, and you will see on your phone, it's at the very bottom on your desktop or laptop. It's on the far right side. So if you're interested in my recipes, that's where you will find them. But yeah, thanks for being here, Leanne. Thanks for having me on your wonderful podcast. I really, really appreciate you and the movement you're doing with your work. And I love seeing all your adventures, and I appreciate you so much. And y'all have a great day. See you later.
See, I wasn't kidding. Jessica is amazing. I'm so honored to know her. And if you don't already follow her on Instagram, you can do so by going to Daily Ketosis on Instagram. Okay, next up on the podcast, Sunday, March 29th, we have episode 241, where I am talking about how the metabolism works. If you're frustrated around calories and intakes and weight loss and why your body has all these symptoms and why can't you just lose those 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, you're going to want to listen to that episode. Then Sunday, April 5th, episode 242, my friend Soma Mandala is taking over the show to chat with us about menopause and the keto diet. Dr. Soma is brilliant in this area. She shares a lot of things that I haven't even gotten into yet. So if you're experiencing menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, this is the episode for you. Okay, I will see you there and have a great week. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Keto Diet Podcast. Join us again in a couple of days to discover more Keto for Women secrets for your fat-fueled life. The Keto Diet Podcast, including show notes and links, provides information in respect to healthy living, nutrition, and diet, and is intended for informational purposes only. The information provided is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, nor should it be construed as such. We cannot guarantee that the information provided on the Keto Diet Podcast reflects the most up-to-date medical research. Information is provided without any representations or warranties of any kind. Please consult a qualified physician for medical advice and always seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding your health and nutrition program.